Hello and welcome incoming freshmen to Custom Advising for the College of Education. Before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself since I'll be working with you over the next couple of days. First off, my name is Gerard McQueen and I'm one of the academic advisors here in the College of Education. So a little bit about me. I earned my bachelor's in leisure, sports, and tourism studies, as well as my master's in higher education, administration, and supervision here at MTSU. I was also involved in quite a few things here at MTSU as well. I worked as a graduate assistant in the Office of Student Organizations and Service, worked as a student coordinator in the Office of New Student and Family Programs, also known as Customs. And then I also was a member of the fraternity and sorority life community here at MTSU. I'm also the youngest of four, and I'm also a twin. And fun fact about me, I'm a die-hard Office fan. I've watched it at least 10 times. So if you give me an Office trivia question, I'm more than likely going to know it. So that's just a little bit about me. So next, what I want to do is go ahead and go through each major. That way, you're 100% sure that you're choosing the major that you selected originally when you came to Customs, and make sure that you're in the correct program for the correct licensure program. So the first major that we're going to talk about is early childhood education. You may notice that there is a kind of an overlap with elementary education. And so the best way I'm going to kind of differentiate the two, early childhood education is more focused on human development as opposed to academic content as far as what you're being taught in these classes. And then also early childhood education is focused more on students from pre-K through third grade as opposed to elementary education, which is the full K through 5. So that's the major difference between those two there. For those of you that are interested in working with middle level education students, what we select a concentration. So either math, science, English, or social studies. You'll want to narrow down that concentration as well when you pursue that major. And so one cool thing that also comes with this degree is if say, you choose math when you're getting your initial licensure, you could always come back and pursue an English degree or English uh, endorsement, is what we call it, after getting your initial licensure. If English is something you are strong in as well and you'd like to teach that as well, that's an option for you as well. If you're interested in working with students with special needs, we have two different options for you as far as options for special education. So the first option is special education comprehensive. This has a more of a broad range, considering you're going to be working with students with more severe and profound disabilities. With these students, they require more intense support from the teacher, and so you'll typically be teaching more life skills rather than academic content for your typical day in this profession. And then there is the special education interventionist option, which is a little more specific, and these are typically uh, geared towards students that need limited support from a special education teacher, and there's more academic content throughout the typical day, which will normally be in a typical resource classroom, general education classroom, as opposed to in comprehensive, where it'll be more of in a life skills classroom containing a kitchen, washer, dryer, household items, things of that nature. So next, what I'm going to talk to you about is about who your assigned advisor will be. So from here on forward, these are who your advisor will be. It may be me, it may not. But if you are an elementary education major, early childhood major, or special education major, I will be your academic advisor as long as you are not a transfer student, which none of you are. However, if you are a middle level education major, then Mrs. Brianna Lichardi will be your academic advisor. And then if you're exploratory advising, if you need any, if you schedule any appointments as far as exploratory advising or are a student on probation, then you will meet with Alicia Abney, who is our advising manager. So next, what we're going to talk about is one of the documents that I sent you, which is your advising binder insert. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the documents that are in there, just because this is actually probably will be one of your most beneficial resources as a new student here at MTSU. So the first part of the binder will have your advising and scheduling info, which will have tips on how to register or how to advise, advising tips from either myself and from different advisors, and then scheduling info on how to schedule an advising appointment in the future. And then there's going to be pages in there about campus resources for you and then also registration help when you go to register for your classes in the future. Then you have candidacy and testing requirements. All of that information will be in your binder as well. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later, but I just kind of want you to get familiar with that term right now. But that's also going to be in your binder as well. And then the how-to college glossary. I will say this is something I would definitely wish I had when I was coming into college, just because you're going to get thrown a lot of different terms in college that you may have never heard before. For example, CRN. That may be something you may maybe thrown even come during customs. But there's going to be a lot of different terms you're going to be thrown, and you may not know what they mean. And so the how-to college glossary can kind of help you out with a lot of those terms, just so you can get acquainted with the vernacular here. And then we'll also have the application steps as far as applying for the teacher education program when that time comes. And then after that, it'll be your different student information. And next, we're actually going to talk about the different your own personalized student information, document by document. That way, that all makes sense to you when we meet at customs. So this first document is your upper division form. This is basically it's going to have a list of every course that you will need to take prior to you graduating, and this is a form that you'll actually will need to turn in a few semesters before you graduate. However, I do want to get you acquainted with it now. That way, when that time comes, you know what this document looks like. So, but that first page is all your general courses that you'll need to take, and then that second page is going to be all the courses that are required for your specific major. So just keep that in mind. So the general education requirements are just courses that you'll need to take as every MTSU student will take. And then after that, it'll be courses that are geared towards your major. The next document is the academic map. So as we talked about before in the upper division form, it has all the courses listed. However, it didn't really give you much of a path. So this academic map actually gives you that path semester by semester as far as which classes you need to take, when to take them, and then your expected graduation time once you complete all those requirements. So this map definitely helps you with a sense of definitely a plan on how you're going to graduate and when. So next, we're going to talk about applying to the teacher education program. So, one big difference between most other programs in the College of Education is most other majors only have their program, but they don't have a separate candidacy to it. With education, there is your degree that you get from MTSU, and then there's a license that you get from the state. And so these requirements are all state requirements. So these aren't requirements that are just specifically made from MTSU, and these aren't requirements that can be changed or altered in any way. These are state requirements. So if you were to go to Belmont or UT Knoxville or UT Chattanooga, these would be the same requirements if you wanted to be a teacher. So the first requirement, you have to have at least 45 earned credit hours, and that is usually by the end of your third semester. If you take 15 hours per semester, which is about 5 classes per semester. The next requirement would be is that you have at least a 2.75 inclusive GPA. This is about a B minus average for all of your courses. And the next requirement is that you'll have to fulfill the test score requirement of either passing the core academic skills for educators test, or you would have already had to earn a 22 or higher on the ACT, or an SAT score of a 1020 or higher. And then the last requirement, you will need to pass the ESE 1010 and 1011 courses, which you'll be taking during your first one of your first few semesters here at MTSU. So here at MTSU, there are a few advanced standing options for you. So first off, if you during high school you got course credit from dual enrollment, or you took AP classes and reached the appropriate score for that subject, or reached a certain score in your ACT, you may have course credit for those. What you will need to do is submit your transcripts to MTSU in order to receive college credit here for those courses. And then if you are interested in being in the honors program and you're eligible, you will need to refer to the info that I sent you as well, as far as signing up for the honors program. And like I said before, just refer to the packet that I sent you, whether it's honors or prescribed course or any of that information. So next, what we're going to talk about is prescribed courses, and typically these courses are have smaller class sizes, and they're more using more time with your professor, and they're kind of, I guess, pre-college classes would be the best way to put that. So if you were probably already sent this information if you're in this category, but if you're required, if you're admitted with a low or no ACT scores and have a lower high school GPA, then you will need to take a prescribed course for that specific subject. So, for example, if maybe you scored low in the math section, then you would take a prescribed course, and the prescribed course will have a K. And this must be taken your first semester. That way you can start taking the other mandatory courses that you'll have in the future. And just keep in mind that this can limit your scheduling options. So you will want to make these courses your first priority, since there's limited options as far as prescribed courses for those subjects. What you want to do is refer to your upper division form and your map if you have any prescribed courses. And like I said before, make sure that you make these courses a priority, because you won't be able to move to those the next level of courses until you complete these. Okay, so time for registration. So I'm sure you're all excited about this part. So there are two ways to create a schedule when you go to register for classes. So The first way is by looking up classes, and then the second way will be by using Schedule Planner. And I'm going to kind of go through both in a little bit of detail too, so you know the steps of doing both. So the first option is for you to look up the classes manually and one by one. What you'll want to do is you will go to registration and student records on Pipeline, and it will give you the option to look up classes. And so what you'll do is, for example, say you wanted to take an English course, English 1010, for example, you would scroll down here if you were on Pipeline until you got to English. Then you would find 1010 and you click on View Sections, and then you would it would show kind of something similar to what this looks like right here. And I'm going to kind of go through each column for you. So the first column, it will either have a C or it'll have a box next to it. If it has a C, that means it's closed. So that means there are no more available seats for that course. However, if it has the box right here, then that means it's open and you can register for that course. This next row you see here will have the CRN, which is your course registration number. What you can also do if you want to, once you find every single course that you want, once you have the course registration number for each, what you can do is when you go to add or drop classes, you can plug all of those CRNs in at the same time and it will register for all of them. Next is the subject. You will see that there. 1010, that's the course number. And then, like we talked about before, there is some of the classes have specific letters attached to these. And so for D, that would mean it's an online course, so a distance learning course, so online. And then for H, that would be an specifically honors course. And then a few more things to kind of touch on would be right here where it says Monday, Wednesday. So for each letter in that column, that's how many days that you will go to that class. So for example, you see where it says MW, that means you would go to class on Monday and Wednesday, not Monday or Wednesday. So that's important for you to know. Sometimes you will see it will say TR. That means you go on Tuesday and Thursday, not just Tuesday or Thursday. You go Tuesday and Thursday. And then sometimes you may see MWF. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, not or. And then it will have the class time right here. And then if there's no time because it is probably online, it will have a to be announced here, as well as the location too. Location is listed here. The name of your professor will be listed right here. And then also, you can't see this on here, but on Pipeline, it will have the amount of seats offered, the amount of seats filled, and then how many are remaining. But I'm not able to show you that because I'm not actually on Pipeline right now. However, I can explain that to you at Customs if you do have questions about that. So that is how you look up classes view in Pipeline. And then what you will do is go to registration and student records again and go to add or drop classes, and you will type in the CRNs for each course. So the second option is Schedule Planner. So with Schedule Planner, it kind of does a lot more of the legwork than you would for looking up classes yourself on lookup classes. So basically what you would do is that you would start up here at the top and you would type in each subject and then the course number that has the title of the course on there. And then you have all those listed here. Make sure you have the correct term. Also, what you want to do is it gives you the option to list your preferences based on when you'd like to go to class, if you like to have all classes in the morning, you can have that selected. And if you don't want any morning classes, you can deselect that option. It'll be in white like the set is for Saturday. There's also different preferences as far as what days you want to come on campus. So, for example, if you work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can go to class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You just deselect those options for you there. And then there's also preferences as far as if you want to take a certain course because it's honors, it'll give you options there. Off-campus courses, if you want if you want to be offered online courses, it does that for you. And then there are more options here below. And then if you have prescribed courses, that also has that option for you as well. And then once you enter all those preferences and your schedule in, then it will bring you to this part on your screen where it'll have different classes available for you based off of the times that you asked for. And once you click on each course, it'll kind of have each course more in depth as far as who the instructor will be, how many credit hours it will be, what is the course registration number, which is the CRN, which will be the 5-digit code that you'll need to type in when you add or drop classes, and then your the location, and then how many seats are open. And then if you look at the top right, I wrote the schedule planner does not register you. This, like I said, it does all the legwork, but again, it does not register you. So it is important to know those CRNs, which again is the course registration number. That way, when you go to add or drop classes, all you need to do is plug in that course registration number in there, and then you'll be good to go. So there are different course types and restrictions. So first we're going to talk about the restricted courses. First, if it says an H next to it, it'll be only for honors students. So if you're not a student that's in the honors program and you try to register for that, it will not allow you to register for that course. If it has a K next to it, that is if it is a prescribed course. If you're not a prescribed student that needs to take that prescribed course, it won't allow you to register for that section on Pipeline. If it's a course says J, it'll be a high school dual enrollment course, which won't allow you to register for that since you aren't a dual enrollment student. And then, so as far as the different types of classes that you'll be taking. So the first type of course is a conventional courses, which means you'll meet in person whenever the course says you can meet. So like I said before, if it says MWF, you'll meet in person on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then web assisted, you will meet in person at least 15 hours throughout the semester. So those will make more sense when your professor emails you prior to the course, or on Pipeline it will have specific dates that you will meet. But those will be a little bit in person, a little bit out of person, but more in person. So, and then as far as hybrid courses go, those you actually meet more. You do more outside of class than you would in class. So you may meet maybe once a month, but no more than 15 hours, and the rest of it will be done outside of class. And then there's work that'll be done, a class that'll be done in remote, whether that is completely online or those are classes where you will meet online, but you'll meet via Zoom. But those are classes that you will not meet in person. So next, like I said before, in the advising binder insert, there are plenty of different campus resources for you. However, I do want you to be able to find this information yourself, as far as that and other areas. So If you are needing help with class and need free remote tutoring, what you need to do is just Google MTSU tutoring, and you should be able to access that information. If you need help with papers, you can Google MTSU Writing Center, and it will give you information on to how to find that website and get help there. Anything with financial aid, tuition, anything money related, I would definitely go Google MT One Stop, and then I also added their number as well as their building number and then the email as well. All of those ways are pretty effective ways to reach One Stop. And then if you're wanting to just get involved here while you're during your time here at MTSU, and you want to join an organization, you want just Google MTSU student organizations, and there should be plenty of information for you as far as getting involved in the student organization. And also another website that you could use for getting involved in student organizations is mtsu.edu/mymt. I'm sure you've probably heard about this once or twice by now, but if not, mtsu.edu/mymt is a great place to start. So, like I said before, I'm your academic advisor. However, I'm not it's not like high school where I, control everything that you do. You're now adults, so I do want to make my role for you as clear as possible as I can to you by making a simple kind of do's and don'ts. So I will be helping you select your classes to take. However, it does not. I won't be registering your classes for you. You'll be registering for those classes yourself. However, I will help you select the correct classes to take. Next, I will email important info to you, but I will not, be calling you, texting you, emailing you over and over and over to pester you to make sure that you've read the emails. That's your responsibility as a college student to make sure that you read your emails and just check on it regularly. My advice, if you're on your phone as much as I am, I have the Outlook app on my phone. It connects your MTSU email to it. I've had it during all my time in college, and it was very helpful. Another idea that you may want to do is just maybe once a day, if not 3 to 4 times a day, just check your email and just make sure that you're staying up to date. A lot of professors cancel classes via email, maybe provide extensions, whatever it may be, any updates. President McPhee, he sends out different alerts about different things going on campus via email. So I would definitely recommend making sure that you take care of making sure that you are updating and looking at your email every single day if you can. And so, again, I will advocate for your success. However, I will not bend the rules to make sure that you succeed. That is your responsibility as a college student to make sure that you're following all the rules and doing what it takes to be successful here at MCSU. I will answer and redirect all of your questions if I can't answer them. However, I can't read your mind, so I always encourage for you to be as clear as you can in your questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Always understand that, and there's never a thing as asking too many questions. So whatever questions you may have, ask them because you never know if somebody else may have the same thing, and you never know if you never ask. So if you do have questions, definitely ask me, and just be as clear as you can with your questions. And then I will thoughtfully work with you. However, I do not work for you. Meaning that I'm working with you to make sure that you're successful, but I won't be doing the work for you. And so that's kind of where, like I was saying earlier, you're a college student, you're an adult. That responsibility is now on you to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do to make sure that you're successful. And lastly, I will treat you like an adult who needs direction. However, I don't want you to become too dependent on me as far as answering questions for you which is why all those documents were in that advising binder insert. I want you to be able to become more independent. That way you can answer questions, and if you need me, I'm here. But I don't want you to become solely dependent on me answering every question for you, because I'm not always going to be able to answer every single question as soon as you may need it to be answered. Always understand that myself and other advisors, we are human. Like I said, we will treat you like adults, but we also don't want you to depend on us too much. I want you to have that independence for yourself. So, at the end of customs, you will be registering for your courses. However, just because you register does not mean you're confirmed for your classes. What you will need to do later on is pay and confirm your classes. Please do not forget to do this, because if you do forget to pay and confirm your classes, then they will be deleted and somebody else will take them. So a couple of days to keep in mind. Tuition statements for the fall will be available on Pipeline on July 13th. You'll be starting getting those tuition statements available then. And then you'll want to make sure that you have paid and confirmed your classes by August 16th. Because if not, I don't know if you're familiar with the purge, but long story short, if you have not paid and confirmed your classes, all of your classes will be deleted, and they will basically be up for grab as if it was the purge. So that's why we call it the purge. And so make sure that you pay and confirm your classes by August 16th so that you don't have to worry about the purge. Now, I know you may be a little bit nervous about registering. Don't be. I have given you plenty of different resources to use, but here are a few to make sure that you look at. First off, look at use the tutorial documents that I emailed to you. The email of a copy of when you get done, email me a copy of your completed schedule. Page 5 in the advising binder has registration help. So if you're registering and are having any problems registering, check page 5. And then if you're not able to answer your question by page 5, reach out to me and we'll see what we can do. And then Google the MTSU registration guide for more help. And then if you have any questions about tuition or financial aid, like I said, I'll reach out to MTSU One Stop. One thing to always remember, I am your academic advisor. I am not your financial advisor. So if you do have anything finance-wise, MT One Stop is where you want to go. And that concludes the end of customs advising for the College of Education. Welcome to MTSU, and I'm excited to see you at customs.